Hey guys, OG Albino here, bringing you guys my UPBA Week 6 match, I want to say. It's either Week 5 or Week 6. Sorry, I'm rushing this video a little bit, breaking the fourth wall a little bit here. It is Friday night when I'm recording this. It goes up on Saturday. I've had a really busy week, and I've kind of just put off doing this recording over other ones, honestly. So that's my bad, but I do want to get this up on time and stuff like that, so I want to let it render overnight so it can be up tomorrow morning. So I am going to kind of just, rush through this team builder portion just so we can get right to the battle and finish this up as soon as possible. So I'm hungry and I want to eat dinner. And I just got home from the gym, if you couldn't tell by my less than ideal get up right here. But regardless, let's just jump right into team matchup. This week we're playing Storm and his San Diego Sneasels, I believe. He's having a pretty good season, I want to say. But he has a very, very scary team, which consists of, let me pull it up on the dock on my phone because I'm not organized right now. I don't have it on the screen. He has Celesteela, Mega Venusaur, Neoligo, Milotic, Haxorus, Florges, Mudsdale, Delphox, Ninetales, Alola, and Talonflame. While our team consists of, if you did forget, the Aegislash, Mega Gallade, Suicune, Sylveon, Decidueye, Diggersby, Aerodactyl, Hydreigon, Garbodor, and Combuskin. We did make one quick transaction in between weeks. We swapped our Z users from Decidueye to Aerodactyl. I believe I said in the last UPBA game towards the end. But I felt as if I drafted Decidueye into a very defensive role in this team, and I figured it wouldn't really be easy, and I felt like I could, better take advantage of the Z Crystal on Aerodactyl in certain matchups. For spoilers, we are bringing today with the Z Crystal, which is pretty cool. But yeah, with that being said, his team is very, very scary, very, very threatening defensively. Celebi is a scary, scary core to break through. Definitely not one of my favorites to play. Then he has stuff like Milotic and Florges and Mudsdale. Something I did notice though, his hazard removal is very, very subpar. He has Florges and he has a Talonflame, which is not what you want defogging. It's the thing you want to defog for. So, and I feel like I can pressure Florges enough to where it can't really defog versus me, so I'm going to try and hazard stack him a little bit in my game plan right here, and win with my Mega Gallade in the end, which is going to be our win con right here, sitting right here on the front of the screen. Max attack, max speed, 4 Spadef left over, Swords Dance, Close Combat, Zen, Headbutt, Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is honestly there for things like the Celesteela if I don't want to drop my defense, or things like the Milotic. I know it's Close Combat just about the same, but if I don't want to drop my defenses and stuff like that, it could come in handy, and I didn't really see another new move really needed, so I went for that instead. Next up, we have our Aegislash, our secondary win con this week, rocking out the Weakness Policy Autotomized set, Flash Cannon, Shadow Ball, King Shield, 220 HP, 148 special attack, and 140 speed with a modest nature. This mon is very, very good in this matchup. If we can chip things down due to hazards and stuff like that and get our Weakness Policy procced, we do damage to his team at +2 with Shadow Ball and Flash Cannon. We really only need dual stabs. This serves as a good Neoligo check as well, and Foul Play will actually pop our, our Weakness Policy. We can autonomize up on that thing, which is super, super nice. We can live a, Haxorus Earthquake, a Celesteela Earthquake, Fire Blast, stuff like that. So this thing is very, very good in the late game here. Next up, we have a Aerodactyl right here, rocking out the Rockium Z Unnerve ability, Roost, Stealth Rock, Aerial Ace, and Stone Edge. 156 attack, 124 defense, and 228 speed with a Jolly nature. So this is actually going to be our Talonflame check. I'm terrified of Talonflame. It kind of runs through my team, especially at +2. This thing can take it on defensively pretty well. Rockium Z is actually a really good move versus his team. It hits a lot of his team very, very neutrally. And Aerial Ace is for the Mega Venusaur. I kind of wish I put, maybe Earthquake on or something like that, because Aerial Ace isn't doing all that much. I was originally Home Claws on this set, but I figured I needed Rocks just to slowly roll down his team, especially with the Talonflame being that much of a threat, and his, only having one actual defogger in this game. So I figured having Rocks on this thing was pretty important, and then Roost for longevity, obviously. Next up, we have our Garbodor making its debut, rocking out the Rocky Helmet Aftermath abilities, Spikes, Gungshot, Stopping Tantrum, and Explosion. Max HP, 204 attack, and 52 speed with an Adamant nature. I believe the speed is for a no-speed floor, just we are creeping that, or creeping is it's something like that. I know it has to do with the Forges. But this thing does hit very, very hits things pretty hard in his team, honestly. Honestly, he does have stops to it, like the Venusaur and the Celesteela and stuff like that. But that gives us free spikes and stuff like that. Gives us a good switch into the Florges. Rocky Helmet Aftermath could come up clutch with one of his physical threats if we really need it. And its job, honestly, is to get up spikes and go boom. That's all I really want this Garbodor to really do. Next up, we have John Jr., our Hydreigon, rocking out the Choice Scarf and Levitate ability, U-Turn, Draco Meter, Flash Cannon, Dark Pulse, Max Special Attack, Max Speed, Timid Nature. So I originally had a really cool like workup sub leftover set with Dark Pulse and Flash Cannon to beat a lot of his fat down, because Hydreigon's natural bulk is really, really nice in this game, and if I can beat his fat down with like, you know, some workup Flash Cannon and, you know, do big chunk to the Florges, that would have been great. But I had to scrap that idea because I finished the team, I did a mock, and I realized I lose to Haxorus at +1. So I wanted a Scarfer that can outspeed that +1, and Hydreigon just does hit that mark, which is very nice. U-Turn Draco, Flash Cannon, Dark Pulse hits the majority of the team. Gives us good momentum to the speed control, like I said, and very, very important so that we do not lose to that Haxorus. And then lastly, we have a Suicune right here, Leftovers Pressure Ability, Substitute Protect, Scald Roar, Max HP, 100 Defense, and 156 Speed. Just a very big defensive nuisance for his team to roar things around, rack up Hazard Chip, burn things with Scald, Protect, PvP stall things down, roar around setup like the Haxorus, things like that. This is a very, very hard mon for him to break. I originally was Subcalm Mind, but again, the Haxorus really, really does scare me, so I wanted to throw roar on there so it couldn't set up all over me because I am not Ice Speed. But yeah, with that being said, let's jump right into the game. Alright guys, here we are with the battle. So looking at the team that Storm looked to bring, looks like he went the Haxorus, Mudsdale, Celesteela, Milotic, Florges, and Delphox. So off the bat, I see no Mega Venusaur, which is nice, but I definitely understand why he didn't bring it. I feel like my team definitely handled it very, very well. So I'm not too surprised right there. And we do see the Haxorus, which is very, very scary. It does kind of claim one versus our team. We don't take it on very well, but nothing really does. Haxorus is like an absolute truck. Other than that, I see no T-Flame, which is also very nice. It frees up my arrow to be more of an offensive threat in this game. You know, set up rocks more freely, not have to worry about staying around for that. And yeah, right off the bat, I am going to lead off with my Suicune. He doesn't have anything that really wants to take it on. I can sub up on the Milotic. I can throw Scalds off versus pretty much everything. I can sub up on the Florges. I can threaten out the Delphox. I can try and burn the Celesteela. I can threaten out the Mudsdale, which I don't switch into very well, and I don't break very well. Which is something to take note. I didn't really build well around the Mudsdale, which isn't a mon I should have slept on because it's honestly one of my favorite low tier grounds, and it also deals with the Haxorus pretty well. So I figured that Suicune would be a pretty optimal lead for me, just because it put me in the best position overall against a lot of his you know, really scary threats and stuff like that. Nothing really like 100% threatened me out or anything like that. So I am going to lead off with my Suicune right here. As we see that our opponent elects to lead off with the Haxorus, which is very scary. Like I said, this thing does take me on, does take my team on very well. But if I want anything against this thing, I would prefer it be my not my Hydreigon. That would be cool too. But my Suicune right here is right here. He's gonna just stay and turn one and throw off the Dragon Claw, which definitely surprised me. I went right for the Scald, hopefully fishing for the burn. We're gonna see right here. We're actually gonna do a big chunk because we get a crit. But we don't get the burn. I would much rather get the burn than the crit in this scenario, just because we can neuter this Haxorus the entire rest of the game. In my head, he probably doesn't want to stay in and risk, you know, me burning his Haxorus or something like that, or me having Ice Beam or anything, but he stays in and he just clicks the Dragon Dance right in my face. Which was definitely, it was definitely a play. It definitely threw me off guard for sure, because I figured he'd not want to risk this thing getting burned as. On preview, this thing just rips through me, especially if he's carrying, like, you know, DD Outrage or something like that. Oh, well, he's obviously not because he's Dragon Claw. But right here, I am just going to roar him out because, again, I don't want to mess around. I saw that he's willing to move this in and set up in our face pretty much. And right here, he's going to go into the Delphox right here. And I figured this is a pretty safe turn to throw off a Protect. If he is, like, Power Up Solar Beam, that could be scary, and it'll put us out of range with, like, a potential Psychic or Psyshock or something like that as well, as he goes right back out into the Haxorus. Which is, again, very interesting because if I burn this thing, it's pretty much useless at this point. But again, doesn't end up mattering. I do get up a little bit of health from my lefties right here, as I believe I just go for another. Do I go for a Scald or do I go for a Roar? Totally forget. I am going to go for the Scald right here. Hopefully fishing for a burn. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it. We're going to bring this thing down pretty low, but not in the range to where you know, it's a burn or anything like that, unfortunately. So he is going to be able to take out our Suicune with his next Dragon Claw. He definitely outplayed us in this early game. I I played around this Hackstress pretty poorly, in my opinion, kind of overplayed a little bit, and it cost me my Suicune, which was a great defensive check to a lot of his team, and you're going to see it comes into play later on. Me losing my Suicune so early was pretty rough. As right here, he's going to go into his Milotic. I'm not going to mess around with this thing because I saw he's willing to leave it in on pretty much anything, so I am just going to go for the Dark Pulse, as he does get the Flame Orb activated, showing us that he's a a Marvel Scale Flame Orb set right here. So I'm going to go for another Dark Pulse. This thing doesn't really threaten me too much, as he is going to go for the Recover himself and get back up to a pretty decent amount of health. But Bird is actually going to be chipping him down and helping me out a little bit, which is super nice. That's the only thing I can really do with this Milotic, is try and keep it low for my physical threats in the back, because the entirety of the rest of my team is going to be physical right here. As right here, I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse. I am going to get a crit, which is unfortunate for my opponent. We got the Scald and don't get the burn, so I see that that's probably their best way of hitting me at this point. As I am going to go for another Dark Pulse, because I figure right here, if I can get the flinch, this Milotic's useless. As I get another crit, which is really close to knocking him out. Really close, actually. But unfortunately, we do not get the knockout, which is fine because it was off a crit anyways. That wouldn't be cool if we did. But he is going to be back at half. And again, I'm just going to stay in. I'm going to click Dark Pulse right here. Try and keep this thing as low as possible. Waste some of its recovers. I see right here that it can't really touch me very well. He's going to finally pull the switch out into his Florges. But again, that's not the biggest deal in the world. I do have a full health Garbodor in the back, and that helps me get up some spikes, because he's definitely not going to want to stay in versus that thing, as it reveals the leftovers right here. As I am going to switch out and go into my Garbodor, and hopefully get up a spike or two or something like that. As I believe right here, he pulls a great double, a really nice double in all honesty, out into the Mudsdale, which is really good because, again, I don't switch into this thing at this point. This thing is, definitely really terrifying. But I am going to like to get up a spike right here because I expect him to want to go for his Rock Drizzling, not expecting us to stand. So I make a bit of a ballsy play right here. He goes for the Rock Slide, expecting one of our Flying or Levitators to come in. So we do get a play right there. We are able to get up one spike right here, which is great. And then I'm just going to throw off the Explosion. In all honesty, I probably should have saved my Garbodor. It would have been nice to pivot into the Florges, to the, just to pivot into that thing, because we don't switch into it very well now. But we are going to get this thing pretty low, which is very nice, as he does go for the Earthquake, so we could have just went out into our Hydreigon or our Aerodactyl. But again, not too big of a deal, as Garbodor does go down, but it gets up a spike in the meantime, which is very nice versus this team. If I can get up Rocks in that spike, it's going to chip things down pretty low. I'm going to make that Milotic pretty useless. So right here, I'm going to go into my Hydreigon, and I'm going to U-turn, expecting him to want to switch out, because he was in range of Draco Meteor at that point. From the damage that I'd seen earlier, he was definitely in range from Draco at that point, so I figured he'd want to save this thing, because it was really good versus my team. But he is going to stay in right here, which is unfortunate. He's going to throw off the Toxic right here. He's going to poison my Aerodactyl. If anything's poisoned, I would prefer it be this. This thing isn't, super... I don't really need health on this thing, being that there's no Talonflame here. So again, not too big of a deal. But I do know he has the Rock Slide. I do know he can hit us with the Rock Slide right here, as I believe I am going to pull the switch out, expecting, that Rock Slide. I'm going to go right back out into my Hydreigon right here. And I am going to take this Rock Slide pretty well. It's not going to do too much. Again, this Hydreigon has pretty good natural bulk and stuff like that. The chip damage definitely is annoying, and due to the last two turns of lefties, he's actually out of range of our Draco Meteor right now. So this turn, I'm going to just go for it. I'm not going to mess around. I figure, hey, he's willing to leave these things in just to chip me down. I might as well just attack what's in front of me at this point and kind of learn my lesson. As you're going to see, he is going to live on the sliver health because I didn't click that Draco initially, which is, again, super unfortunate. As he's going to go for the Toxic right here, that is also, very annoying. It does, lower the longevity of our Hydreigon, but we are a Scarf set, so it wasn't like we were boosting off any damage anyways. It just kind of speeds up us going down. But again, not too big of a deal, as we are going to take a little bit more Poison Chip, and then we are going to throw off a Draco Meteor to knock out this Mudsdale right here. So we are able to take out the Mudsdale, which is great because I didn't switch into that thing whatsoever. And then I didn't break it very well once I lost my Suicune, so that's an oversight on prep on my part. I definitely should have slept on this one. It's one of my favorite low tiers. And I should have known, how good it is and how good it was versus me, potentially. So right here, he's going to pull the switch out into his Celesteela. As I believe this turn, I am just going to go right out into my Aegislash. I don't want to give him a Beast Boost, and definitely in range of like a Heavy Slam or something like that. And I know I can take that into any other hit, no matter what his investment is, just because of how naturally bulky Aegislash is. So we are going to take that. This just shows he is a very offensive offensive Celestials. So right here, this is a play where I believe I really, really messed up. I think I could have, this could have been super, super nice here, just as a play in general. Right here, he's going to go for the Earthquake. And me, knowing that I can live any one hit, I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball, expecting him to want to attack me and then just getting off a little bit of damage. But what I should have done was get off and Autotomize. Because if he went for the Autotomize and, got up to +2 speed, we would have, undersped him anyways, but we would have been faster than anything wanted to come in, and we would have been able to throw off a Shadow Ball the next turn regardless. But it's not going to end up mattering, as we are going to bring him down very, very low with that +2 Shadow Ball, so he's definitely an offensive, probably an Autotomized Celesteela, but he's going to live and is going to be able to knock out our Aegislash at this point. We did weaken the Celesteela though, which is totally, totally fine. And again, that play that I made didn't end up mattering at all, but just, for future reference, I probably should, make the Autotomized play and, scare it like that. But, you live and you learn. But I am going to go into my Delayed right here, as I believe I just throw off a, I'm going to Mega Evolve, obviously, and I believe I just throw off a Thunder Punch. I don't want to take the minus special defense and defense right here. And at this point, Gallade is looking at, while I am down 4-3 right now that the Celesteela has gone down, Gallade is looking in prime position to do very well. We have the Milotic very, very low. Florges is going to come in right here as a, I guess as a defensive check to us. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw off a Swords Dance, because if he isn't Scarf Delphox in the back, I win the game. This game's over because I definitely knock this thing out with +2s and hit out always, and I know I definitely live a Moonblast just because of the natural Spadef bulk that Mega Gallade has. So we're going to see right here, I do live said Moonblast, and I am going to be able to throw off a big Zen Headbutt this next turn right here. As he's going to pull the switch out, I believe, into the Haxorus, just sacking it off. So having that extra sack also does suck for me, but, not too big of a deal, as that thing is definitely going to go down. Spoilers, we do hit our Zen Headbutt, which is great. And down goes the Haxorus right here. Now, next up, he is going to go into his Delphox right here. And this kind of just screams out, hey, I'm Choice Scarf Delphox. Either screams out that he's Choice Scarf Delphox, or he's just trying to bluff it hard. As right here, I am just going to go out into my Aerodactyl. It's my only thing to really take a hit from this thing. Because I would expect it'll go for Dazzling Gleam just to hit my Hydreigon as well. If it locks into Psychic, I go into my Hydreigon and I, can click a button then. But he's going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. He's going to do a big chunk. However, after Poison, this next thing, if he goes for Season, goes for another Dazzling Gleam, I should go down to Poison, but I'll definitely knock out this Delphox, which is great. But he is going to make the smart play and elect to switch out and save that Delphox because it was a great mon versus me. I should have roosted right there. I really should have, just to keep health on this and, potentially pivot in later. But again, you live and you learn. As right here, I'm just going to throw off my Z move right here. We're going to get a big Continental Crush off on the Milotic, and I believe due to the chip that I took earlier, plus the Spike, plus the Burn, and all that stuff, we are going to be able to take out the Flame Orb boosted Milotic with our Z Stone Edge. It might have been a roll, but regardless, we are going to be able to get that. We're going to knock out the Milotic. We're going to take a little bit more chip from Poison, which is unfortunate, as he's going to go into the Florges right here. So I believe this turn, I just go straight for a Stone Edge right here, yeah. Maybe I should preserve this, maybe not. Maybe try to roost up, but I don't think I would have been able to stay out of range of, Florges Moonblast or anything like that, as he is going to be able to Moonblast and then take out our Aerodactyl right there. Crit definitely didn't matter. I think we dropped to that 100% of the time. But yeah, down goes the Aerodactyl right here, and we are in a 2-2 situation. Again, if he was bluffing the Choice Scarf Delphox, I definitely win this game with Gallade plus Hydreigon right here. But right here, I'm going to throw off a Zen Headbutt. We are going to be able to knock out the Florges, so it brings it down to a 2-1 situation. Again, if he does not have the Choice Scarf on the Delphox, we win this game 100% of the time, because I am able to get Thunder Punch, chip off, and then throw off a Dark Pulse and knock it out like that. It should put in range even if it's colder. But right here, he is going to unfortunately reveal that he is a Choice Scarf Delphox, and he is going to go be able to knock out our... Oh, wrong thing. Delphox lives. Our Mega Gallade dies. He's going to be able to knock out our Gallade right here, which is unfortunate. This is where I wish I played a little bit better with my Suicune in the other game, because it was the only thing that could really switch in and pivot into this thing, and stop it from cleaning up my team late game. But unfortunately, we are going to drop a 1-0 loss to Storm, who played a phenomenal game. Shout out to him. Really, really good game. I had a lot of fun playing this one. And definitely go show him some love and support if you have not done so already. You know, his channel links will obviously be in the description below. But yeah, we are going to take a pretty tough 1-0 loss. I mean, 0-1 loss after losing pretty big to John Jr. last week. So this game was a little bit better, but I definitely would always prefer winning opposed to losing. Obviously, that's, you know, the whole point of playing. But nonetheless, we will try and bounce back next week. We play D and his, is it D? Yeah. And his St. Louis Boo-Boos, I want to say it is. From what I've heard, very, very good players, a very, very terrifying team, but I think we do as well. And so hopefully we can pull that out from underneath him. And, you know, kind of get back on track here, because the season is far from over, in my opinion. We can definitely still bring this one back and make a push for playoffs in the championship and all that stuff. But regardless, again, GG's to Storm. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to catch more, you know, league games going up in the future. And I'll catch you guys later.